Camera of me. I don't
Hi,
know.
friends. How are you? Welcome to Ritual Rise, which is our morning little coaching call about how to find time and money freedom. And it brings me to a point that my special guest and I are going to talk about is when I talk about time and money freedom, really what I mean is structuring your time and prioritizing your time to be the kind of real estate professional that you want to be. And so my guest today is Maggie Tomkiewicz, who is, well, first of all, she's a dear friend of mine. And, we have become friends through this whole entire real estate world. And she is really kind of inspiring in a couple of ways. Number one is she, on the realtor level, she is a former state president. Has been involved actively since I've known her. And Maggie, how many years have you been involved?
On the state level, 20. In the Realtor Association as a whole, probably, let's see, about 25.
About 25 years. So, and she is active, so it's inspiring to me because a lot of people will put in a couple years and then you don't really see them much. They may show up on a task force or something, but she's back in there. So you're involved right now with RASM and then on a state level and on a national level.
Correct. Yes.
Correct. So we'll dig into that. And the other part about Maggie is she has a mega profession. She has recreated her business over the last couple of years. She is now part of a team. She's the team leader, and they have been absolutely blossoming with Milbury and Company. Is it Milbury and Company?
Milbury and Company, yes.
Milbury and Company out of Dartmouth and Westport. And so she and her team have just really embraced that market. They've embraced her. And so she has, after being involved for 25 years, actually would have been 23 years because you've had the team for a couple of years. Right. She is now got this team together. So I just find that, when people say, oh, I can't learn anything, I can't learn anything. I think you're proof that you can.
Yeah. I think our industry is ever evolving. And if you don't stay active and learning daily, you just become stale and I think, a dinosaur. So, yeah.
And, so Maggie has been at that same Realtor Party training I've been involved with the last couple of days. And actually it was after this, and then before we jumped on to another meeting that we talked about doing this guest deal together today. And I'm so glad you're here. So thank you for being here at 6:30 a.m. I do know you're up all the time by this time, but it really
but not prepared for camera usually. Still in my pajamas working.
And we all know the camera is so forgiving.
Yes.
All right. So the first thing I want to talk about, because I want to try to keep us at 10 minutes. So is that so that you can get on with your day, is that right now you are a Realtor Party Participation Council, which means that you are representing Massachusetts on the national level, trying to get participation amongst the Massachusetts people. And actually, I had this role the last 2 years. We flip-flopped. And I really had trouble getting that participation. I didn't quite understand the dynamics. And that's why I'm really excited you're doing it. The dynamics between your local association, the state, and the national, and how to bring it together. So talk to our friends about why RPAC, why now, how to do it, and what we can do to help you.
So it's RPAC I've been involved in for 20 years since I moved up on the state levels, where I really learned about the importance of that, because it's important that we understand we are the voice for home ownership nationally.
Yeah.
We are the largest trade association in the country, and we are 1.4 million strong. That's a lot of voices. The association, and particularly the political action, is where we bring our voices together collectively to support home ownership. And so we lobby and we work for that purpose, to ensure that everyone has the opportunity, well, not ensure, but to try to deliver it and assist people in homeowners and wannabe, buyers, wannabe homeowners in achieving that goal of home ownership, because it's still the American dream.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And so because sometimes we don't have a long memory, some of the things that happened last year, were as a result of RPAC's advocacy for our homeowners and for us,
Right.
that we as realtors were able to do our jobs.
Exactly. That we were deemed essential, almost, right after, the shutdown, which is really important. And it's important to know that our state association, our legal team, and our advocated for that. They have a seat at the table, and they have a seat at the table because we engage our legislators. And part of doing that is supporting those legislators who support homeownership and give us a seat at the table. And that's why RPAC is so important.
So important.
We ask for participation. We're looking to, we have a certain percentage that we'd love for it to be 100%.
Right.
And, fair share is only $15 a year.
And
I buy lunch for $15 a year.
Exactly.
$15 a day.
$15. There was more over the nation last year than ever before of those $15 investments. Right. And I know it's kind of hard because a lot of times there'll be events that are going on, and virtually there were some fun events throughout the state last year. And but easy enough when you're paying your dues or to go to, and I think we have it on a ticker so people can go and figure out how to invest, is just taking it upon yourself to make sure, because I don't want people to say, well, I didn't go to an event, how was I supposed to pay? Right.
There are many ways to participate in that, but the link that's running on this podcast here, you can go right to it. And if you have any problems, please feel free to reach out to me or to Katie, and we'll help walk you through it. The MAR has revamped the website, trying to make it that much easier. And you can probably do it for at our local RASM, if you're part of RASM, or your local association, Cape Cod, RASM, wherever your local association is. There's usually a link there on their site to click in and participate as well.
That's awesome. So easy enough to do, my friends. Now, I think Maggie and I were talking, we've always included as a bit. Now I want us to zoom out a little about as a business, right? So this business is our business. And I said yesterday that I've always reinvested a portion of my earnings back into my business. And one of those things has been my RPAC investment.
Exactly.
And so talk with me about how you walked down that path, just about being a realtor, being active in realtor, how to get involved in being a realtor. So many times people ask me, like, how do I start? Or how do I get to where you are? Like when I was Realtor of the Year, people were like, how do I get that? Like, if you could do it.
Right. You start by getting involved. Get involved in a committee on your local level. If you don't know anybody, just call your local realtor office and see how you can get involved. They're always looking for people to get involved in the association. And so that's how I started. I got involved on a committee, and then you sort of, once you engage on the committee and you get a little, people might ask you, would you now take this position? You serve as a committee member. Eventually you may serve as a chair. And then from there, you may go into, the leadership at your local association, and then onto the state and the national, if that's your design.
In our state president right now is Steve Medeiros from our board.
Exactly.
So it does happen across the state. Like there's representation across the state. So you can you can be as active on the state level as possible. Now I have to tell you, one of my earliest memories of you, and this is when I went from being, like, say, involved on the local to was getting involved on the state level, was that I did the Leadership Academy.
Right.
And we've talked about this, but just to let you guys know, right? I applied for the Leadership Academy. At the time that I applied, I didn't even know that, like, what leadership meant. I thought it was going to make me a better leader with my group. I had no idea that it was like what I'm going to call a capital L leadership, which is getting involved in the volunteer organization.
Right.
Anyways, you were the dean of students. And so Judy Moore and Maggie Tomkiewicz were our deans. And honest to God, like, I was like so in awe and so afraid and so like, oh my gosh, like they're untouchable. But the thing that you did, which, and again, this is so silly, was there was one morning, like the first morning, and I'm so nervous. And you came up to me and you're like, Kate, do you have any mascara? And I was like, oh my God, she forgets her mascara. This is going to be fine.
Yeah.
But it was such a good lesson for me that, like, as you're talking, I'm thinking about how I was, and like afraid to make that call and afraid to put myself out there. And as I'm sitting here listening today, I'm like, we'll call perfect strangers and ask to sell their houses, but we're afraid to call someone who's volunteering their time to serve us, and we're afraid to call. So that's kind of a funky little kind of like thing about it. The other thing is that, is that when you start your time investment, back to like what our goals are about our time investment, your time investment's pretty low.
Right. You work into that. It's not, and you take it to the level that you're comfortable with. Yeah. Some people, are more comfortable staying just at the local level. For me, well, I was asked, and so I moved on, and it was the best decision I ever made for my business. People, I say this often, and I know it sounds so cliche, but it is so true, is people would say to me, how can you ever afford to give that much time or to put that kind of time into volunteering? And I said, I can't afford not to.
Can't afford. I love that. Yeah.
I couldn't, because I was, I bought my own company kind of by accident. It wasn't a plan of mine. I never intended to, but then I found myself as the broker owner of a company, independent. And I thought, how am I going to learn? How am I going to help my agents? How am I going to keep my business going? Doing a franchise was not an option for me at that time, because I needed the name recognition. And that was the plan I, chose for myself. And so attaching myself to the Realtor Association is how I learned and I grew.
That's how it gave you amplification. Well, the thing I noticed was when I got involved on the state level was that now I had all of these people across the state with like different environments, and they would say like, you people in South Coast do things differently. And I thought that was the only way to do things. And that was back when we went from being a local MLS to MLS PIN. And when we were doing, just the way that we did things basically. And so it opened my eyes, and it also opened my resources of people to call if I had a challenge. Right. So now, instead of just, trying to find someone who will help me on a local level, I had all my friends who were also, realtor enthusiasts like I was, willing to take my call and help me and walk me through.
Right. Yes. And that's the value there. People will do real estate coaching and all that. I got it for free. by volunteering. I didn't have to pay for it. And I can remember saying, again, telling people, it's like, you know what, when I can learn from someone else's experience or mistake or, bad experience, I'm all about that. I don't need to go through it personally. They're willing to share, oh, this is what happened when, or whatever, whatever the situation was. I was like, oh, okay, I'll learn not to, how to avoid some of those situations, which just was invaluable to me.
Well, that's what they say. We learn by stories, but it doesn't have to be our story.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like, oh, okay, that pan must be hard for me too. Oh my gosh. So that is awesome. And so tell me, what were the things this week that stood out to you on our Realtor Party training, as I'm going to say, transitioning into where our reality now, our pandemic reality for people, and also for our climate. How as realtors can we confidently and advocate for our profession, for our clients, for our communities, in safety and also in confidence?
So with the Realtor Association is always, bringing things forward to us on how to stay safe, what's the best practices. When the pandemic hit and we all ended up at home, being involved in the association was where I learned what to do. I do a lot of short-term rentals in the summertime. I was learning there, hearing what to do, how to do it, and then going out in the marketplace or dealing with other brokers who had no idea what to do or that something had shifted.
Yeah.
I knew because of my involvement. So from our RPAC on a national level, I think the most important thing that they are, ingraining in us now is that unlike how Kate and I addressed today, we're not blue and red. We're purple. We are
Yeah.
mixed. We are the Realtor Party, not a
Yes,
Republican.
it's almost like I want to wait a minute. Let's go this way. I want to reach into you. And
I know. Listen, okay, this way.
we're gonna make purple here for you guys. It is. I love it.
That's kind of what they've done. They've sort of, that's kind of our color for RPAC. Everything is done in a purple as opposed to the Realtor blue, and they chose to do that on purpose. And just to know that we do come together with one voice.
Yes.
And that's important. We all come from different beliefs, different backgrounds, different experiences, but for the good of homeownership, for the good of our industry, we speak as one voice. And, they have desperately tried to be the voice of reason. They brought information to us to help us understand what's going on and how we want to move forward, heal from what's gone on, and just, come together. We know each other. It doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum we fall on. We come together as realtors advocating for home ownership. And that's what I think RPAC shows us.
Yes.
And that's what they were teaching us.
Yeah, it was. And, again, back to story. I was so touched by the stories and just across the country, on how, because we are a little bit in this area. Mattapoisett and Dartmouth are kind of a bubble. We don't really experience the huge transitions of home ownership on a global level, or even on just for our country. So it's nice to hear those stories, and it's nice to learn from other people, and it's nice to be proactive. We are going to see transition in our industry, and we are, and what I love is that we have a confident, I confidently know where to go to get my information. And I know that there's somebody on the other end dying to help me. And
Yes.
I think that is, the part that I just love.
Yep.
And I have to say, I love my involvement in real estate, in realtors and the Realtor Party. And I especially love the time that we get to spend together. We have roomed together. We have sat at, we have traveled together because of our rides. And so, you've been my mentor in so many different ways. And so I appreciate you and all the work you do. I marvel at, your kindness in your heart, because sometimes, because you're so smart, like you were that person who was an icon, you and Judy, before it started, but it's like, not only are you smart and capable and accomplished, but you're also kind and intuitive and ready to listen and ready to help anybody. And I so appreciate that about you. And it just always amazes me.
Well, thank you, Kate. But, I've learned our friendship means a lot to me. You inspire me every morning. You make me grow when I watch you. And so I think that's what friendship is about. That's what colleagues are about in our industry. We get each other, we stretch each other just a little bit more by either example or inspiring or encouraging each other. That's what I love about my team.
Yes, your team's awesome.
Yeah, I went from owning my own company, decided to shift from that in 2006, and worked as under, the Millbury umbrella after my own company. But the last couple of years, bringing a team is just the three of us, a team of three together. They were new agents when we started connecting.
They came to my school. I loved them.
Yes.
Rising plants.
Exactly. It's so funny. And they just, I know it's funny because one of my team members, I did not know her, but she bought a house through my office.
Yeah.
And I happened to be answering the phones one day, and she called and said, I live in the village and I'd like to get my license. Where would you say, what school should I go to? And I said, I sent her to Kate.
Yeah.
She went through her schooling with Kate. And then when she finished, she went to Kate and said, well, I live in Dartmouth. Where do you think I should go? Kate connected her back to me. And I didn't even remember,
Yeah.
it was a one phone call.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that I had sent her to Kate in the first place. So it's just,
It is
but
funny.
having my team, that I think I told you this, Kate, that has re-energized me and my business.
And that's the thing that I love about our business is that we can constantly evolve. It excites me. And I say this all the time. Like I jump out of bed in the morning and I'm like, all right, what do I got today? And it's different every day. And I think that, I'm so grateful for that. Anyways, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for our friendship. I am grateful for our involvement together in RPAC. I think that, you and I are people who are practicing real estate agents. So we get what it's like on the road and on the street. Or I always say, like, our boots are on the ground, and yet we can see the bigger picture. And any way that I can help you from my side, let me know. And and I will be calling on you because you did my position last year. So anyway.
Collectively, we're going to make it work. And if I could just say to all the realtors out there, I am the Massachusetts Participation Council member. So participation is what we need. There are many of us like Kate and Judy and who step up to what they call the major investor level in RPAC, but we do that because we are committed. But if everyone did their fair share, the $15, if we had everyone in the state, every realtor in Massachusetts doing their fair share, we wouldn't need major investors. Although, so some people are carrying the weight and they're doing it willingly because they see the benefits. So I would ask all of you, if you haven't done so, please make your fair share, $15 contribution to RPAC. If you can do more, we welcome that and we thank you for that. And, sometimes if you think about it, if you just think about, could you pledge $10 from every sale that you do in 2021? You don't have to give it all at once, but I would ask you to at least do your $15 fair share.
Right. And actually, now that you're mentioning that, I just want to quickly say this, and then we're going to wrap up. I'm sorry, guys. Is that if you don't have that money in your hot little hands right now, then there is an early, what is it called? Early commitment. Early commitment where you can commit over the year. And as Maggie said, you can give $10 every time you have a transaction and you send it off. And you pay it off by the end of the year. So by doing that, you can say like, and this is actually a great affirmation exercise. This is now I'm putting back on my little coachy hat here. Is if you say, all right, I'm going to commit to be a major investor. The bottom line on that is $1,000. All right, and I'm going to do $100 each transaction. By the end of the year, I will have become a major investor. I get a special fancy pin like that Maggie has on. I couldn't find mine. Mine's pinned right here, my tattoo. But anyway, so but the thing is that you can do it that way, and it's painless, and it projects you now to make that business because you've said to your cosmos, I am going to be a major player this year. I'm even a major investor. But either way, I just follow the URL on the bottom, guys. Get educated. You owe it to yourselves to be the best professional you can be. Don't do it because someone said to do it, and don't not do it because someone said don't waste your money on that. Right. Make the decision for yourself. Empower yourself to be the professional that you want to be. And as a gravy, you get to make these great friendships along the way. So thank you, my friend. All right, and I'm going to just sign off for us. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Kate. Have a great day.